Today we're making one of my favorite fall dishes, pumpkin lasagna. It's loaded with pumpkin, mild Italian sausage, and I'm using no boiled lasagna noodles. Everything is topped with a bechamel sauce, and it makes so much bechamel sauce that there's even some left to top the lasagna before we eat it. Stay tuned and I'll show you how to make this fabulous dish that you're gonna love. So let's get started. I've already cooked, this is between 19 and 20 ounces, package sizes are sometimes different, of just mild Italian sausage, about the kind with the casings. Remove the casings and just cook them in a dry frying pan until they were browned, and then drained them on paper towels until the meat cooled. You can buy it in bulk and use bulk packages if you want, but then you don't get these chunks, and I prefer those for most everything when I use Italian sausage. This recipe also has a bechamel sauce instead of your standard like jarred spaghetti sauce or Alfredo sauce, and that's going to be the basis for the sauce for the whole lasagna. And we want to get started. I've got a pan that I'm going to heat on medium heat, and then I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of butter. So I'm going to let this melt. And as it melts, I'm going to add some garlic and some salt. This recipe is healthy. I mean, pumpkin's good for you. It's good for your digestion and things like that. So while this melts, shouldn't take but a minute, just want to saute the garlic until it's lightly fragrant. And then I'm going to add some fresh baby spinach. This is about 5 ounces. It's been washed. And I'm going to saute it until it's just wilted, which will take just a couple of minutes. Okay, the spinach is wilted. So I just want to remove it and put it in a bowl and set it to the side. Okay, in the same pot, I'm going to heat it back up to medium heat. I'm going to add 6 tablespoons of butter and let that melt. And this is where we're making the bechamel sauce. Bechamel sauce is a butter and milk sauce made with flour that is kind of thickened with Parmesan cheese, or any kind of cheese. Depends on what you're making. All right, so this is going pretty well, and I'm just going to add 6 tablespoons of all-purpose flour, and I'm going to whisk it to blend it with the butter. And I also want to cook it enough to get the flour taste out. Now, before I started this, I microwaved 6 cups of whole milk in the microwave. You just want to take the chill off the milk. It doesn't need to be boiling or bubbly, but you want to heat it, because when you add the milk to the flour and butter, you don't want it to seize. So you want to add the warm milk very slowly to the butter and flour mixture, and try not to make a mess, and keep whisking. This will take about 13 to 15 minutes. Just stand over it and keep whisking until it gets thick. As you can see, we've got a very low boil, and it's kind of a velvety texture. And you can see where everything's starting to get a little bit thicker. So what I want to do is turn off the heat and move my bechamel sauce to a trivet where I'm going to whisk in a cup of Parmesan cheese. You can grate it freshly if you'd like, but this is the stuff out of a can. Works fine. And then I'm adding some dry mustard, nutmeg, and salt. So I just want to whisk all of this in, and it will continue to thicken as that Parmesan cheese melts. So we're going to make the filling for the pumpkin lasagna. You need a large can of real pumpkin, not pumpkin pie filling. Make sure it's unseasoned and it's just straight up pumpkin. You need a large bowl. To that, we're going to add another cup of Parmesan cheese. Give it a stir. And the spinach that we cooked. And the 19 to 20 ounces of cooked sweet Italian sausage or mild Italian sausage. Just want to mix this up. We're going to season this with a little nutmeg, salt, and black pepper. So it's time to assemble our pumpkin lasagna. And I'm just going to spray a 9x13 pan with a little bit of cooking spray. And then I want to put a small layer of our bechamel sauce on the bottom. Just kind of a thin layer so that the lasagna noodles don't stick. I'm using the oven-ready lasagna that you don't have to boil ahead of time. So you need a little more sauce for that kind of lasagna because it's going to soak up a lot, or that kind of pasta, it's going to soak up a lot of the bechamel sauce. This will take one box. And so divide it kind of into thirds. There are about 15 or 16 sheets in here. So I'm going to line the bottom and then just break it to fill in any places, because you really want it to be 100% covered on the bottom. Then we're going to add half of our pumpkin and sausage mixture. And spread it as evenly as you can. When you put more layers of pasta on top, it's going to smush down and move to the edges some too. A little bit more. So next, I want to put another layer of lasagna noodles. And then I want to put another layer of bechamel sauce. If you think this looks like a lot of bechamel sauce, it's because it is. And what's left we'll serve on the side. My oven is preheating at 350 degrees. Okay. Let's do another layer. Oops, actually, I think I'll use this. Another layer of the sausage and pumpkin. spread it. Okay, then we're going to put the final layer on of our pasta. And it worked out just right. And then we're going to top it with some more bechamel sauce. This will bake uncovered for 50 minutes. And then it will be ready to serve. Let's get a little more on here. I like to bake dishes that are this full on a baking sheet, just in case something decides it wants to bubble over. And the back side of this measuring cup makes a great spreader. Clean up the edges a little bit. I'm going to stick this in the oven and I'll see you again in about 50 minutes. The lasagna is out of the oven, and just one more thing before we serve it. I'm going to sprinkle about a 1/4 cup more grated Parmesan cheese over the top. That looks good. Now it's time to taste. I've just made myself a healthy bowl of our pumpkin lasagna and going in for a taste. This is so good. It's hearty, very satisfying, great for cooler weather, and will also feed a crowd. This will feed probably between 6 to 8 people. I think you're gonna love it. I know I do. If you'd like to see more recipes like this, please subscribe. For complete ingredients and cooking instructions and to purchase cookbooks, visit cateringbydebbicovington.com.